Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Lethal Sales. We're so glad you're here. Thanks so much for coming tonight. Our topic is the good, the bad, and the ugly in dealerships. And I think that Larry Feldman, who's been in and out and around about and got the t-shirt, knows all about it, can get started on this one.
Sure.
Good habits, bad habits.
Well, I think it's dealerships in many ways are a parallel for life. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do, but you just don't find too many people doing what they're supposed to do. Um, right? Everybody in this room is aware that with the sophistication of people looking for cars these days and their access, they want a number, and yet you've still got managers that won't give them a number. So now they go back and they're stuttering into the phone. We know that sales and service should work together. They don't. Um, you're all aware by now. I'm doing a workshop seminar with my buddy Sean Armorer to try to get BDC and sales to work together. Should be the easiest thing in the world, Wendy, right? I mean, every salesperson wants more uh, appointments, and here you've got people that you're not paying, the dealership is paying to get you appointments, and yet it becomes contentious when it shouldn't. So, as far as bad, in the same way that people shouldn't get drunk and get into a car and drive and all the other crazy things, we know what we should do. Everybody states it, doesn't work. I can't tell you how many meetings I led and said, guys, I don't care what you say, just don't say, can I help you? You got it. And they'd walk out of the meeting and walk up to a customer, go, can I help you? So it's like life. We kind of know what we should do. We don't do it. Now that's the negative. The positive is explain to me what other job you can have other than a drug dealer where you can not have a college degree and your first year, if you work hard and smart, you can make $100,000. Where you advance through the ranks very quickly, where every day it's something different and where you control your own income. Nobody likes going to their boss and begging for a raise. This is the kind of deal where you give yourself a raise. And if you're open-minded and you're optimistic and you're excited, you get to meet cool people. You meet some jerks, but you meet some cool people. Before I hand it over to Peter, I want to give a shout out to Russell Hill. Russell Hill surprised and delighted me. He said, "You're in Texas. I'm going to come up and see you." And because Russell is the busiest human being on the planet, right? He does at least 700 podcasts every day. It's frightening. I thought he was going to come in, shake my hand, and give me a Russell Hill hug and leave. And the son of a gun stayed for a whole 2 hour class. He has no idea how gratified
Boom.
I was.
It was so it was the absolute best. It was awesome.
Well, it was really a pleasure to see you, my buddy,
You
and
too.
have to participate. So from the bottom, once again,
Was on.
how did I meet all you good folks? Through the car business. I bet everybody on this panel could tell about one, two, three, six people you met, you loved, you dated, you married. In some of your cases, you divorced them too, but hey, the real world, you know? But
Yeah.
good is you control your income. It's never boring, and you have control of your destiny. The ugly is the same ugly you have in every aspect of life. We know what we should do, and then we do the exact opposite. And one last, I said I was going to jump off, Peter, but let me just say this. I'm really tired of hearing about tariffs and car shortages. Listen, but I'm not that old. Before I got in the car business, I heard horror stories in 73 when the gas prices went up. And all of a sudden you couldn't afford to put your Lincoln on the road. And worse, that you had to go to a gas station on alternating days according to your license plate. Then, in our infinite wisdom, we decided that a great governor like Jimmy Carter would be a great president. Wrong answer. And all of a sudden you had 20% interest rates. Okay. We had cash for clunkers. We had 2000, 9/11, a housing meltdown. We're going to survive this and we're going to roll right through this. And I asked him to be on the panel tonight, Rhonda, but he couldn't make it. I invited Charles Darwin to talk about survival of the fittest. It's not the strongest cat. It's not the fastest. It's the one who can adapt the most. Adaptability, being able to turn on a dime, being able to shrug things off is what makes you successful. Mr. Smith.
Well, That last part reminds me of the old saying that a bear can run at 40 miles an hour, and there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to run at 40 miles an hour. All I have to do is run faster than you. So
Exactly.
it's it's so true in life. We have to adapt and pivot. And our business is absolutely one of pivoting. You've just named my entire career basically. I started in this industry in 82. So I was on the tail end of those monstrous interest rates where 11.9% was basically the equivalent of 0% today. It was insanity to try and buy a new car. You just couldn't do it. And that was back when cars were reasonably priced.
Hey, Peter, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just one other thought came in. It's been a long day and my brain's starting to function at whatever level it can function at this point. Um, we got a crazy administration in here because we have so many diverse personalities, right? Is everybody on the panel? Would you have bet money a year ago that Bobby Kennedy and Donald Trump wouldn't be running together? Okay. So he's trying to take fluoride out of the water and do a bunch of stuff and have them make French fries differently. And I think everybody on this panel, you might eat a little differently, you might think a little differently, you might exercise, you might be on podcasts or listen to audiobooks. But as my boy Russell Hill says, and then I'll shut up, we're still doing the same things in the car business we did 50 years ago. It's the same complaints, it's the same nonsense. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Peter. It's just you. I immediately jogged back to we could have had this conversation if they had podcasts 45 years ago.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely. It's without a shadow of doubt. It's the and I'm going to say the term the elitists, meaning the top 1% that changed the marketplace as a whole in our industry. They're the guys out there like the Cody Tanners and the what's the guy from Chicago who sells Hondas. Um, can't remember his name right now, but he was the number one salesperson for years. They do things differently. So if we want to change our marketplace, we have to do things differently. We have to engage in a different manner. We can't go through the 10 steps to the sale. We can't rely on the internet traffic and this. We have to go out and, as David Long says, create our own economies. Now, how do we do that with best practices? Well, the one thing, and I'm going to say every single person on this panel will agree on, is our best opportunity is our first party data. That means people who bought cars off of us. And we ignore them. We ignore them like the plague. It's like it's a one and done mentality, but the elitists of our industry do not. They attack them. They attack them like the gold that they are. They turn around and they market to them faster, harder, and more often than anyone else. And the reason is it's simple math. All it is math. Everything we do is math. It's everything's based on math, and that's how everything moves along.
It's the only universal language there is.
Correct. And math never lies. So,
Apparently, you've never seen some of the bank statements from the.
Right.
well, we can manipulate bank statements, but we can't manipulate math. So, if we just turn around and we say the average car salesman in North America, and I'm just going to use North America as being the United States right now, uh, the the average car salesman sells 9.7 cars per year.
Damn,
Average.
it's gone down.
The average dealership wants them to sell 15. That's the target. That way they can turn and they can eliminate salespeople left, right, and center if they're not hitting their 15 cars. They have no excuse. That's what the number is. That's what it is. Well, you're asking everybody that you hire to increase the average by 50%. That's unrealistic. And you wonder why we have a 70% turnover. Now, the challenge with that is they could be selling 45 cars a month, and it's a simple way of doing it. All they have to do is look after the people that they sold cars to. Give them a year of 10 cars a month.
What a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Well,
And
wait a
if
minute, hold on. Let me throw this in too, because it's so funny. I did 6 training sessions in the last 3 days, and man, my brain is just jumping. Russell, you remember a couple of the cool guys you sat behind?
Yeah.
Today was Larry will solve every problem day. And every problem, I said, guys, what did I tell you was the most important thing? VMO, prospecting and follow-up. Right. Do you understand that every problem you complain about would go out of the way if you prospected? Well, I can't get him in. That's not a problem. If it's your cousin, man, shut up. Get your butt in here. I need a deal. Okay. They come in and they shop me to 10 places. All the problems we have, Peter's right, is because we're not mining the gold. We're not fishing where all the fish are in the pond. Now I've always known this. Peter, can I refer to myself as an elitist? Since
yeah,
right before here, I went to McDonald's and got a large fry and a large McNugget and a large soda. I'm sorry, Shannon. I like to brag about my fancy meals. Okay. Thank God Paul Meyer isn't on the show. We'd have to get 17 pictures of my French fries. Very sad. Very sad.
With
Hey,
or without ketchup.
but here's the thing. If you take the 10 car a year guy or girl, and you let them be a 10 car a year person or 10 car a month person for a year, that's 120 people. If they get one referral, just a referral, not a converted referral, but one referral per person, they will sell over 200 cars the next year. And if they get one referral from those people, they are going to be at over 400 cars the following year. That means in the space of 3 years, they're at a 40 to 45 car a month person. All they need to do is continue to get one referral per year.
Then why are they all standing at the door waiting for somebody to come
Because
in?
Because
Unfortunately,
they don't ask for the referral.
No, you don't need to
think it's
ask for the
gonna
referral,
happen.
Jeff. You don't need to ask for the referral. And this is something Larry and I will argue about till the cows come home. You don't need to ask for the referral. If you turn around and you service that client properly and you connect with them at least once a month with something that is valuable to them, you will always be the first person they think of when you talk about cars.
I agree and I disagree. Okay. If you make enough deposits like that, there's a point in time where you can ask for it. It's just not on the topic of mind. So it's okay to ask for referrals in a roundabout way. Not if it looks like if you haven't earned it, if you haven't made enough deposits, making a withdrawal like that's not going to happen.
Exactly, Russell. But if I turn around to you and I give you an absolutely over the top experience purchasing a car that you absolutely love buying cars, like your wife Linda, your wife Jeff, that just bought her Lexus and loved the sales rep. Loved the sales rep. I don't know if you bought it off that person or not, but if you give that experience that the person absolutely falls in love with how you looked after them, and in that experience you say, "Hey, Russell, you know what? Here's the brass tacks here. I make my living off of serving people just like yourself. I do not find it comfortable or professional to sit there and ask you, do you have 3 friends? Do you have this? Who's in the market for a car? Who do you know? I'm not going to be that person. But what I am going to do...
Are you telling us this or are you telling the customer that?
I'm telling the customer that.
Well, you're asking for the referral right there.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm saying
Okay.
I'm not
All right. Semantics.
I'm not going to ask you for it. That's how I live by. I'm going to give you enough reasons for you to organically refer me to everybody.
I get if it was a few months down the road after the emotional high I was just on, and with the level of experience that exceeded anything before, and it's a few months down the road, and you stay in touch with me. Well, certainly, if somebody's looking for this, I'm saying, I know the guy. Shit, I know the guy.
I have to take the counterpoint here. I'm not saying you're right or I'm right, but when I sold a car, and I sold a lot of those damn things, I always said the same thing. Would you do me a favor, Mr. Customer? If you know anybody half as nice as you, half as nice, send them in to me because I had so much fun with you. And by the way, I know we're not just in this for the money, but there's $100 in your pocket if you bring them in or you send them in. Why wouldn't you ask when the
I would ask for 150 and I'd say done. Okay.
This is why I don't negotiate with you, Russell. Hey,
So I got to tell you something. Yesterday, with listening to
something in the
Larry, man,
column.
I was so captivated the whole time. I mean, it just went like that. My phone wasn't blowing up or anything. It was like it was a God thing. It was meant to be that way. And I got
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why? Excuse my lack of humility, everybody. I consider myself the world's greatest trainer. I can keep people's attention for 5 hours. Now, why? There's nothing
well,
special about me.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I think was, and I was able to say something at the end and offer some stuff. I said,
You
look,
did.
they're down there getting training, but not the kind of training that Larry's doing. Trust me. Okay. The training they're getting is product training. I said, you know what? You could know everything there is to know about every single CDJR product that you have in the lot. But if you can't answer, the questions that Larry's teaching you, you won't make any money. You can know nothing about a CDJR product at all, absolutely nothing. But if you learn this basic stuff right here, the most common objections and what Larry's sharing with you, you'll make a ton of money without knowing. So it was magic. It was magic.
But wait a minute. But let's back up. Forget about me for a second. Why am I good at what I do? Why is Peter? Why is Mandy? Why is my girl Wendy? Why is Rhonda? It's Sillman, everybody. It's because we're excited to do what we do.
Yes.
If Russell showed up before, I thought he was going to shake my hand and leave. I was so gratified he stayed. But if he said to me, "What's happening, Larry?" Yeah, you know what it is. Another bunch of idiots. I got to try. I was so excited. I got him excited.
Pumped.
And I quoted Russell Hill, always a good thing, Peter. See, you get Russell Hill involved. I said, guys, remember, you got to say, I don't have to do this. I get to do this. Yep. I got to fly to Dallas. I got to meet some Texans. I got to gloat about the Eagles. I couldn't help myself. And I got to train people. If you get up in the morning and you can't wait to go to work, you're going to roll. I got a comment from Mandy that Wendy would probably have an opinion on this. And just in case anybody knows, Mandy is a sponsor for my upcoming thing, May 22nd. So if Mandy wants me to dress in all in purple and do a Prince impression, I'm doing it. So Wendy, your advocate has spoken up. What fine things do you have to say on this?
And it's interesting because with her business development background, I was hoping we would hear from Mandy today because she's usually, quiet, if not silent. So what part of the question about data mining? I don't understand what you're asking.
No, I wasn't asking anything. I made that comment when Peter was talking about it. He was talking about
because
just working the data that they already have within the dealership and what a gold mine that is.
Exactly.
And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like you could speak to that firsthand, that it is such a gold mine that I think that people are really sitting on. And I think to speak to Larry's point, I think that we need to assess if we're talking about people and the processes inside dealerships and really getting people to where they need to be in terms of performing. What are dealerships and what are the management people doing to get people excited? How are they feeding into that culture? And that's what I think I'd be interested in. But it really ties into everything. Mining the list, working the new clients. It's really attitude and approach and support and just building that excitement every day.
Well, so you got to get them coming and going. I mean, I'll give you my good, bad, and ugly. And I think it's all about, loyalty. Going in, coming out, the loyalty. It's all about the human side. You guys knew I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I even made a couple of notes. First, I wanted to say, because I'm kind of proud, but the last time it's actually 18 years almost to the day since we opened our first BDC at Amato where I was back home. And I remember when I was internet sales and marketing manager against one other person, I remember my last month in sales. Of course, it was March, but it was March of 2007. But I delivered 21 cars, Hyundais and Mazdas. It was mostly Hyundais, one Mazda, one used. Because I was working that star money, right? You get $100 per new car delivery, number one. But I got to tell you guys, my team, my sales team, because I was in the back of the house before, and this was when I started in the front of the house in '06. They called me the working man's friend. And when my GM talked to Greg Goebel and he heard me making my up calls and said, "That's your BDC manager," it was about the people then. And the GM walked me in an office and said, "Here, make me a call, make me a BDC." And the GM said, "Thank God, now she can get her damn hands out of my pocket." I mean, this guy, he would desk my deals. I just wanted to move those units, you guys. So I wasn't about the gross. I didn't have that killer thing, but I moved the units. And I remember on occasion, I go in there, he'd be closing my deal, and one day he started emptying his pockets out and throwing everything out on his watch on his desk. He goes, "Here, take it, watch," because he even took his watch off. He said, "You took every other damn chance I had to make money. You might as well take what I got in my pocket too." So fast forward to now. So the good is that we're having the conversations about the necessity still, yet again, of the need to bridge the gaps. So I'm really, really happy that sales and BDC are coming together with Larry and Sean at their event. I'm even looking forward even more so on to what this will evolve into, because I think it will start a conversation and an event with lots of takeaways that will lead to collaborations with other pieces that have gaps within the dealership that need to be bridged, like marketing or even like HR and marketing. I mean, Mandy, then you get up and you speak instead of just sponsoring, all the pieces, the HR getting them in, or marketing with BDC, with sales, with whatever. So that's the good. The bad is that we're still needing to solve these same problems because it's been going on for years, guys. But again, thankful that the conversations have started. So that makes me hopeful that there are areas of opportunity for us to effect change together, right? Because we're people helping people. That's what we got to do. We need to forget the have a seat at the table, whatever, virtual, in person, whatever. It's so overused. I mean, get a new phrase, guys.
Yeah.
I can, but that is what it was. We were the elitists, to Peter's point, were unapproachable and unavailable and unaccessible. We listened this morning to Kevin talking about how, "Mark, what do you do at NADA?" "Oh, I make sure I shut them down right away. I tell them to go through my marketing director. And if they come to me directly, forget it. That's over. It's over. I'm done. I'll never look at you again." So, I mean, there's got to be gray area, right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Wendy, you brought up something. First of all, thank you for your kind words this morning. Okay. I really appreciate that. So I'm not going to, you all can just guess about the room this morning, but I'm in this room just about every morning. This morning, the topic went to vendors and how they do this and how they do that. And they better do it this way. They better do it that way. And you know what? They were so full of shit this morning. It was unfreaking believable. Some of these, and I hold them up in high regard, high esteem, and some of them I'll listen to, but some of the crap that I heard this morning was, you know what? You're part of the problem of why vendors have a problem, okay? Because you think you're holier than thou, or, first of all, I've learned to take a little bit more with the ones that are talking all the time with a grain of salt, because I've come to realize this is one of my own character defects. I tend to be a little gullible and naive and want to believe people. Okay. And it's unfortunate, but people are people, and I fall short, and we all fall short. I love and I continue to go. But I wanted to call some of these guys on the carpet this morning and saying, you don't have a clue. No, you put that jar down. No, I didn't say it. But anyway, Wendy, you got me on that rant, but I wanted to thank you first for your kind words. There could have been several people in there that could have chimed in, and I'm just telling you. Do you know how impossible it is to get a hold of people? It is almost impossible. Even the ones I do business with that have great numbers, we solve all kinds of problems. They don't have to do a damn thing. It's not a cuss word. the dam overflows because of the automation and stuff like that. And I don't even know where I was going with it. I really got a little
You were
jacked
going to
this
say
morning
your
because,
best friend. You're going to say your best friend Larry Feldman is the busiest man you ever saw, but he's
yeah,
all.
yeah.
When you
And
start thinking you're too busy to talk to people and you're above people, in my mind, you're below people. Okay. It's
I'm sorry, Wendy, I cut you
if
off.
I Wendy,
No, 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 it's good.
if I
I'll
don't
finish.
quote Kipling, every other program, Rhonda gets mad at me. Okay. If all men count with you, but none too much. Okay. This concept that I'm better than you and you can talk down to me. I won't use the name, but I'm doing work for a guy. I do all his work. He swears by me. This lunatic would not respond to anything except a text. And finally, I reached out to him and said, listen, forget about the text. We got to talk, or I'm not interested. And he didn't like that. You know, the one thing with elitists, when you don't want to do business with them, that offends them. When they ignore you, it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him,
And they want to.
listen, you give me these texts with 97 people on it. Okay. It's like Liberian armies on the call.
Oh my God.
Everybody interrupt. Nobody remember. Just let's talk. Let's just find out what you want and let me give it to you. How
No, novel idea. Novel idea.
So yeah, I'm with you.
So
Listen, one thing, I'm into this. Russell's always in. Let's make sure before we run out of time, we only have a half an hour left, that we hear from Shannon. We appreciate it, my buddy Abdul, Mandy, Mike, and Gary, because this is a passionate topic. And me and Russell and Wendy, we could go on for about a week on this because none of us think we're a big shot.
Wendy did have one thing to
no,
say.
but can
I
I just
interrupted her.
land my
Yeah.
plane if you don't mind
Yeah,
and go to the ugly? So the ugly is that they're not listening, they're not realizing, they're doing it the way they always did it. But here's what I think, and that's why I said something about the customer experience 15, 18 years ago. It's going to be all about the experience, but guys, you're looking at the wrong numbers. I talked to two of my dealers today, and if we can get them in the door, they're closing them. They got strong closes, but we can't get engagement on the leads. The lead counts are low and people aren't answering the phones. So, and whatever we're texting, we're trying, but there's so many choices. So we need to up our game in the marketing, period. So to that end, I looked at a couple things the last couple of days. You need to find something creative and niche, and videos. For God's sake, send a video day one, introducing yourself. Show them the human side. Show them you're approachable. And that's all I got.
Well, did
Thank you.
all hear that Trump paused the tariffs today? No, he did. I'm not heard on to TV. The stock market pumped up because he paused the tariffs. The thing is, you may not know why he paused the tariffs. I mean, nobody's more in the loop than Peter Smith.
90 days.
He paused the tariff because he heard through Peter and Rhonda's promotional skills, he and Sean Armour were going to show how BDC and sales could work, which will historically raise the level of sales. No, hey, what are you laughing at, Wendy? I'm in the car business. Would I ever lie? Come on. I said that with a straight face, Shannon. That was worth something. All right, Shannon, Mandy, my buddy Gary Sillman, Mike Larkin, Jeff, you jump in whenever the hell you want. Anybody?
I'll jump in.
What?
Do I have the floor?
Brother,
Go,
you
Gary.
got the floor.
The good, the bad, the ugly. I had some young man from USC contacted me, and he wanted to interview me because I had a lot of experience in the auto industry. So I did a podcast. I finally talked about myself for a half an hour. And being in the industry now for 40 years, we went back to the 80s. And everything that we collectively, as we're talking about on this panel, want to do things correctly. And what happened? I mean, I can't even recall now. I go to Y2K, year 2000. Everybody was flipping out that their computer was going to blow up and the world was going to end. And we haven't recovered. We have not recovered, because then we had the 09 crash. And then we had this, and then we had that. Everything that everybody has been sharing and talking about is absolutely the right thing to do. It's back to the basics where the salespeople need to be the local people. They need to build the salespeople because the salespeople will create trust. We need to bring trust back into the world and then teach everybody to be on one process. And that's a simple thing that Peter talks about, Russell talks about, everybody talks about. It's a process that the dealer is just out of control and not knowing who to listen to. But if you go back to what we were doing in the 80s with marketing, with building salespeople, the training in these dealerships, there's none. Some they teach some kid who has a gift of gab, and then they teach them the wrong way. It's back to running a dealership the honest, ethical way, where you're a part of the community. And so I look at Ford dealers today and Ford dealers tomorrow are the backbone of our industry. They're still family owned, they're still family operated, and they haven't gotten sucked in by the big boxes.
That's right.
And they protect their local community. And so they're the ones that I see the future. And the positive stuff is with what Wendy's saying about videos and BDCs working with sales. Marketing today is so at your fingertips, and that it is important to promote your sales people doing their jobs. And if dealers would listen to all of us and everything that we say, it is back to building your sales floor to be a team, and that the managers manage the team and everybody works together. So Wendy's 20 years ago, my 40 years ago, it's successful when everybody, including the owner, all the way down to the lot kid, understands the process. And if everybody understands the process, we just get better at it. And then no one needs to deviate. And that's what you're training on. And that's how you promote your salespeople, the sales managers, salespeople, the F&I, maybe a manager in service. But we are going back into the basics. And this is going to be a good time because dealers need to digitize their system, but they also need to fix their F&I processes to make it easy for the consumer and their people to use it. Use the cell phone. We've got technology to do anything we want to do today, and those can all cure up problems with fraud, problems with waste. You have it digital, it's there. So I look forward to seeing Larry and your programs collaborating. Russell, I've been trying to get in contact with you because I'd like to get you on our podcast so I can learn more about your program, because it looks like you've got a winner. But the future.
Have you reached out to me and I dropped the ball?
I texted you, but let's not handle that right here. But you're on for us this week. But no, I look forward to collaborating and continue to work with everybody in this platform because we all share the same common goal.
Hey,
Do it
got
the
that
right way.
beautifully put. The only reason I'm jumping ahead of some of you, Shannon, Mandy, don't be offended, Mike Larkin. Brooke Furniss has joined the program,
Yay, Brooke.
and Rhonda is desperately trying to buy new shoes. No one will fill the swear jar.
Well,
No,
the
hell
first
no,
thing
hell
I
no.
get text is, I just dusted off my swear jar. I was like, and I have arrived. You're welcome. You are welcome.
Put that swear jar down.
Listen, I hung, for
Tap
anybody
it.
who doesn't
Put the
know,
lid
I
on it.
hung
Put the
with
lid on
Brooke
it, Rhonda.
Furniss in Florida. And we walked past 4 sailors who were drunk, and one of them said to her, "Hold the language down, lady." I'm just saying.
Sounds about right, actually. That's not true.
Well,
We're
hello,
talking about
Brooke.
the good, the bad, and the ugly. And since you're such an infrequent guest, and we all love you so much, what are your thoughts on the good, the bad, and the ugly? You've been ghosted as much as any of us has. You've dealt with enough insane owners, GMs, and so good, bad, ugly, and then we'll roll around and make sure we get everybody in because we appreciate all of you.
Okay, so run by. So good, bad, ugly of what? You got to be a little more
Hold on, hold
specific because
on.
there's been a
Wait a
lot
minute.
of ugly.
I just got a note from Shannon. If I curse a lot, can I go next? We'll work on it, Shannon.
I may have you beat on the F bombs. I mean, this whole week has been dealing with just idiots, to say the least. So be a little bit more specific on good, bad, ugly, and I can take it from there.
Well, they started with me, which is always a mistake. And I indicated that the problem with dealerships is the problem with life. We know exactly what we should do, and nobody does it. Everybody talks we should lock in sales and service, doesn't happen. The BDC and the sales team should work as one, but it doesn't work. And obviously, that's the ugly. The good is that, hey, you control your own income, you give yourself a raise, and everybody moves up. And I'd say the bad is, as Mr. Hill always says, we could have had the same discussion 41 years ago and it'd be the same topics.
So I'll just go like just recently this week. It's just been actually before I jumped on here, and a friend and I were texting back and forth, and she goes, "I don't get it. Like, how do dealerships put up with this?" And I go, "I think it's a couple of reasons. Whether that's marketing, advertising, what doesn't matter what it is. Insert issue here." Again, at the end of the day, I go, we for the most part, all of us have been in the industry for a while, been in the dealership. There are so many freaking hats you're wearing, and I shocked I had to censor myself there. There's just so much you've got to do, and so to say, like, by the way, on top of that, learn all this digital stuff. I can't. I have lost count of the number of times I get asked, "What's this AI thing?" I was like, "Well, it's not a thing. I guess it is a thing, but I go, it's to take that. I'm like, how much time do you have?" Or certain buzzwords get thrown around, and to say for the dealer to be like, "Hey, know all this shit," like that's just not going to happen. So you need to surround yourself with people smarter than you. The problem becomes is that we all have this thing called an ego that we don't want to put aside,
Wait
and
a
so
minute.
we let it.
What
What's that?
about the inconvenience of guys like me that have prided themselves on their technical skills? Do you know how tired I
Yeah.
get of having Jeff Scherer and Tim Hayden call me and say, "How does this work?" I'll tell you this one last time.
Just the once. I think didn't Brian Kramer reach out to you about the metaverse at one point? I'm
It's
pretty
always
sure.
the same damn thing. And I explained to him, Brian, there is no metaverse. One time at Woodstock, Holland's head took LSD and he thought he saw the metaverse. And he's so rich, nobody wanted to argue with him.
Yeah. No, but I mean, all joking aside, it's very one of why I have a job and why I have a company. So I guess I'm grateful that people suck. It, there's just so much out there to say
Whoa,
like
whoa,
learn
whoa,
it
whoa,
all.
whoa. Hold on. That should be on your business card. Brooke Furniss, I'm glad that people suck. There is a
Well,
marketing idea, Peter. This is what you should jump on.
yeah, there's been a few of those this week that I was like, legally, can I get away with saying this shit? Let's find out. Let's find out. Um, or even, I mean, I was on a caller today, and the individual, the tech is pretty good tech. Make the translation into dealer language, which is a very Liam Neeson needed a particular set of skills to do that sometimes. Like, here's the Japanese they're saying, and they've made it so difficult to prove their own existence. This is what it actually means. And so I looked at this tech, and I have been known to call babies ugly, and that's what I do for a living. And when I go through and do it, then all of a sudden there's this like the ego that I'm like, dude, you're just not listening. Like, you don't want to, if you don't want to learn, that's fine. But I'm telling you, being on the front lines, I'm telling you, this will never fly. And that's also why I get called a lot of different words in the book, a lot of Brooke words that get thrown at me. But it's like, just take your ego aside, put it aside. If you don't know, you don't know. Like, just ask for help on that. Bring someone that knows what the hell they're doing, versus just continue to put your head in the sand and be like, everything's fine. It's not fine. Like, it's not fine, but let's find out how we can get to the point of having whatever it is, whether it's advertising, whether it's BDC, whether it's fixed ops, trying to figure out what's the best way to have the best ROI versus just turning and running from it and thinking that that's going to change it all. Or once again, go back to ego, putting that ego aside and be like, hey, it's okay that it's sucky. Like, it does, but how can you get better? So I dealt with that so much this week, and somehow we're only on Wednesday of just dealing with really stupid people. So yeah.
I want it noted, this is the only show on the air that where Brooke Furnace conjugates the verb. She went from suck to sucky. This is good. We could get a
This is
past
true.
tense in here, Solomon. You watch.
Well, I speak Brookish very well. As for English, it's kind of like my second or third language.
I understand the language myself, but
It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
It's awesome to see you. We love you. Shannon, Mike Larkin, Mandy, boy, Abdul, we're anxious to hear from you. Whoever wants to speak up, just jump on in.
Ladies first. I'm a gentleman.
Shannon,
I
Mandy
see you
Deveau.
there, Shannon. I see you there, Mandy.
Hi, I'll go.
Hi.
Um, Good, bad, and ugly, huh? Um, Gosh, I think the good news is there are a lot of dealers that are embracing change, um, and open to, new ways of doing things. I'm seeing a lot of new tech and introducing some to some of the dealers that I know, and they're excited about it. Um, and the bad is I have a few that don't want to deal with the massive change of, you know, having changing processes, basically. So, yeah. And the ugly, I think like Brooke said, the ugly keeps me employed. And the fact that I'm going through Google business profiles and seeing how dealerships are advertising online, and shocked to learn that many of them are not employing, techniques that I learned more than a decade ago still.
Shannon, you and
Yeah.
Brooke are so right. It's scary. My GSM came into my office, knocked on the door, said, "Boss, can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "Yeah." He must have thrown the F-bombs around 30 times. How effing dumb. The sale, they're terrible. They're the dumbest. I said, "Isn't that great?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, if they were all geniuses, I wouldn't be paying you $120,000 a year." He said, "I'll be leaving now, boss. No problem." Yeah, I mean, if everything was perfect, none of us would. There wouldn't be any purpose for us.
Amen.
That's just a matter of looking at life and choosing to say, these people are idiots. I'm going to benefit off it rather than these people are idiots. I'm going to be miserable all day because they're idiots. It's called pragmatism. Rhonda, am I allowed to use a word with that many syllables in it? Okay, great. All right. We haven't heard from Mandy. We haven't heard from Mike Larkin. Mandy, you better go first because
Or Jeff or Abdul.
Yeah,
Mike.
no,
I'm
for
here.
sure.
I'm
I'm
here.
gonna
You guys
I'm
are.
gonna go ahead.
Abdul, go ahead, my buddy.
Hello, Larry.
We
Thank you
like
so
women
much for
first,
the
but maybe
opportunity, and it's
maybe
great
you have a
hearing.
more feminine side. It's okay. Let's roll.
All of you has been terrific hearing from you, and I'm an old timer like the rest of you, and been in the business since '91. Left 10 years of insurance to join the car business because all my in-laws were there, and from 2017 onwards, my son and I and a good partner here in Irvine from Dealers Direct, Robert Ruiz and I, we started digital marketing to dealers. And thankfully, about 6 months ago, a very dear friend that worked IBM Watson and was leading their AI program for 15 years and left IBM Watson and went on his own and creating platform after platform. And
Wait a minute. Wait, was it 6 months ago, Abdul?
yeah, 6 months ago. No, he left IBM a year and a half ago.
That explains. No, I started getting emails from them. Would I come in and clean up all the problems? I just told them I'm a little too busy. You know how
Yeah,
we leaders are.
but the good thing here is that he reached out to me and says, Abdul, you're the most experienced guy that I know in the African American community in Southern California, and why don't you help me put together something for the automotive business? And we put a great program together. And what we did, that we beta tested it, and we've put three things together. And I hear all of you, and thankfully, I've been involved with from internet to BDC. At that time, we had fleet department when I was in the business, and when I started first in the business, if you all remember, that was fleet department, and then we started with internet, and then we got BDC. I worked with AutoNation BDC for a long time, and of course Browning Group and Cerritos. So now we have the AI, the human side that Wendy loves to, that I love that phrase, and BDC Angel. And what we have is bringing in the sales and integrating all of those 4 to 5 departments all into together. And like you said, as far as data mining, that is our specialty because a lot of the salespeople are looking for immediate gratification, and lease returns is another department that they created instead of giving it to the salespeople. And lo and behold, now we have three different ways. One, we have done what is called Snap Opportunity. And Snap Opportunity is an AI-enabled SEO that does harvesting, the dealer, their inventory, and branding the dealership and their inventory, whether it's new or used. And the other part, the good thing is a subscription package that we have from used car dealership to use new and used car dealership, starting as low as $1,500 a month. And we have unveiled the 90-day pilot program just to show our effectiveness and seeing how we can generate more extra leads and deals to the dealership, internet, and BDC.
Hey,
And
wait a minute, Abdul, hold on for a second. Your programs are great, and you're great. You're just a really good guy. We're so glad you join us frequently.
I appreciate
But
that.
this is not a knock on you. I respect and love you. But isn't that also part of the ugly? They pay people. No. Follow me. They
Sure.
pay people like you, Jeff Scherer, Russell Hill, brilliant people to do the job that they could do themselves. These same dopes, and I use the word dope. I don't want any mail from the anti-dope, that I offended anybody, or. But what about going back into service where there's 50 customers every morning? What about orphan files? What about calling
And we take that orphan files away from them.
Before you get your butt in here and bring me a friend.
Yeah, and that's why we specialize in customer loyalty for service department. We put together a program for them, and then on top of that, expedite, streamline their all entire 4 departments, starting from sales to internet to BDC to service department and F&I, all 5.
I'm gonna send you Brooke Furniss's information. If anybody doesn't sign up, she'll curse him out for you. Brooke, you're up for that, right? We'll make you like the vice president of expletives.
Oh man, that's one of the many things I get called. Like people are like, hey, we don't want to be the bad guy anymore. That's Brooke. She's the bitch. Yeah, no problem.
Believe me,
Take
I
it.
can hear you. I can hear you. I've been listening to all of you, and all we need is just a few precious moments of your time, just to do a 30-minute complimentary demo to see how we
You're
can.
calling Abdul. You're approaching it wrong. You need to call and say, "This is Mr. Jackson from the IRS." You'll
There
get
you go.
on the line so quick your head will spin. All right. We all know how good Abdul is, and now he's got Brooke cursing people out. He'll go far. Mandy, Mike Larkin, I don't want to exclude you. We're running out of time, Abdul. You, me, and Brooke will get on the phone later, and we'll curse each other out. Mandy,
I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you greatly appreciate being cursed out by Brooke Furniss?
Oh, with a beautiful lady.
No, you don't want that. Trust me. Yeah, stay on her good side. That's all I can tell you.
Always.
So I heard.
Mandy, what do you got, my baby? And of course, we can't not talk to Mike Larkin.
No, I want to hear from Mike Larkin. I had a chance to speak there just before with Wendy when you took a call because you were Mr. Important Pants there. So let's hear from Mike Larkin.
It was the pharmacy with my meds. You don't want to see me unmedicated, do you? That's too scary.
No. But let's hear from Mike for sure. I want to hear his perspective.
All right, Mandy. I'll take the baton.
Yeah, don't sound so eager, Mike.
Yeah,
once again, Connecticut is bucking logic, and they're letting a man run in women's sports. He's taking the baton.
We are the champions again.
Will not have a scholarship. You were right
12
about it.
times. Baker's dozen. All right. So 4.5 years ago, about 4.5 years ago, we all know about Clubhouse, and I was on Clubhouse. And before any of us heard about AI and what it was, I was in a room called Modern Day Car Sales. And a lot of the characters that are in there today were in this room. Russell, you were in that room.
Yeah. Are you saying I'm a character?
Yes, I am. Of the nicest kind. But it was there that I heard the main problem that I've been listing and trying to find a solution for. And Mr. Kevin Deutsch, yes, I called you out, Kevin, was not complaining about the cost of third-party lead generation companies. He was angry that their practice was keeping the data. Why? Well, the data that they were keeping, the leads that they were keeping, were also bought by that company's direct competitors. So those people in their market that wanted to buy a car or looking at buying a car got filtered out through 5 or 10 rooftops in that 1 month by that same company. It's just wrong. So fast forward, the status quo still exists. They're paying way too much for recycled leads, and they're still paying them. And they're still doing the same practice. Meanwhile, the AI has solved this problem for a lot more inexpensive, and they get to keep the data. That's the point. And we're David, but remember David and Goliath? What happened there? The same story is going to unfold very, very soon. I'm Mike, and I'm dropping my mic.
That was a mic drop, Mike. Mic dropping, Mike.
I feel for Mike because he does always get pushed to the last person. So I guess that might be me tonight. And I'm going to have to jump quick because it's my 31st wedding anniversary today.
So sorry, Jeff.
My good is that the technology exists today to make all human processes better. All of them. Challenge me. Find, Larry.
I did, and I'm a believer.
You'll throw Russell and Larry will throw the empathy card at me, but I got you on that, brother. But the bad is that dealers still have the mentality that I'd rather keep my problems than deal with the uncomfortableness of change. Right? Because they operate in problems, and man, this is where I am and this is my life.
So if they solve all their problems, they're going to get fired. That's the mentality.
Is that the equivalent in 1930 to saying, "I'm not worried about that infection. I'm not letting somebody put in penicillin in my room." I mean, how insane are these people?
The ugly is that the baby still is. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement that no matter what happens, we're not going to let Jeff Scherer and Brooke Furniss babysit for us? How'd you like to come home to the movie and say, "How was it?" Good, but the kid's still ugly.
Yeah, Jeff, change is certainly constant. Growth is optional. I embrace living on the edge of my comfort zone. Even at my age, man, I mean, all the stuff I hear from all of you is I internalize it. You don't even know how many books I got on my desk. You don't know how many notes I take during the course of listening to people. And fortunately, I do have an ADHD mind. Sometimes I can't find out where I made that note, but eventually I find it. But no, it's good. It's good stuff. I'm getting goosebumps, and it's almost my bedtime, but I'm getting goosebumps.
Hey, Russell, you have to combine your ADHD with your OCD, and then you find things.
Well,
it'll cause a black hole or something, won't it? A vortex?
A vortex.
With all these valves being thrown around here.
So, I just want to add one last thing to the ugly of it, and this goes in line with what's happening on May 22nd in Florida. Dealers will complain that a salesperson or an individual will be pushing someone away, an opportunity out the door, and they will allow them to lose $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in opportunities, but they won't spend $250 to get them to train away from those opportunities.
That should be the insanity. It shouldn't be doing the same thing.
It is absolutely purely insanity. And it's, well, if I do that, then what happens if they go to the next place? Well, they're going to the next place anyways because you're about ready to fire them. So it doesn't make any sense that you would be willing to throw this out. So with that, that's really truly the ugly of everything that we're doing. We're not trying to improve anybody. We're not trying to make people better. We're not trying to do anything. We're just being complacent and working with what we've got and trying to demand change from people that are incapable of changing.
Okay, now I'm going to end on a good note. The good note is this damn program is living proof of what's good about this crazy business.
That's right.
I wasn't in this business. I wouldn't have known Mr. Smith, Mr. Scherer, Rhonda, Mandy, my girl Wendy, and Fred. Okay, Russell Hill, Gary, Mike, Shannon, my buddy Abdul. Listen, it's really simple. Where else do you get to meet people and dive this deep in? Either us are sharing our goods and our bads, the customer where you have to get into their background. Look at the opportunity you have to spread out and have fun.
Yeah.
Your eyes are open, make a lot of money. So I'm the good on this show is
It's
what
not.
nice people you all are and how much we all learn from each other.
Bring
How
coffee
much fun we
to
have.
he's our table leader.
Thanks everybody for the
Thank
input.
you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeff, go have a great anniversary dinner with your wife.
Yes, Jeff. Congratulations
She
once again.
deserves it
Thank you.
for putting up with you for all these years.
There's
What
that.
are you talking about? My wife's been married to me for 31 years. She'll get in heaven ahead of Mother Teresa. All she do is deal with lepers. She had to put up with Larry Feldman for all this time.
Exactly.
Bye,
And
Wendy.
just on that note, tomorrow night,
Tomorrow night.
I have Trent Cannon,
Hmm.
Joe Chambers, and David Sparks on for the Automotive Innovators and Disruptors.
That's going to be a good one, man.
And we're going to be talking about how to get around the tariff talk. Basically, is it a friend or a foe? And in my opinion, it's a friend.
Yep.
I love the tariffs.
Everybody
So-
stay healthy. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
and participating.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Russell,
Right.
don't forget about the podcast with Gary, Mike, Larkin, and myself. Boy, would we love to get you on and have some fun with you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And-
Good night,
and-
everybody. Have a great
Good night, Gary. I'll talk to you soon.
next week.
All right.
Take
Take care.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.